Hello, everyone. My name is Gitika Gorthy, and I'm the founder and CEO of Ignited Thinkers. And today I'm very, very excited and honored to have another incredibly exciting STEM chat, and this time with the one and only Miss Lori Skillings. Miss Skillings is the program manager at Georgia Space Grant Consortium at Georgia Institute of Technology's School of Aerospace Engineering. And she's also an executive partner at the Hines Family Foundation. I'm so excited to learn about what inspired Miss Skillings to go into the aerospace sector and specifically in academia and education, as well as how she got involved with the Hines Family Foundation. So, welcome, Miss Skillings. Thank you so much for taking your time to inspire the next generation of aerospace leaders.
Oh, thank you, Gitika. This is an honor to chat with you, and I'm super excited to share, you know, all the things that are space and HFF related. So great to be here.
Yeah, to just kick off our conversation, I'm really curious to learn what ignited and sparked your passion for the aerospace industry that kind of led to where you are today. I know you're working in academia, so it's a little bit different, but I'm curious how you navigated to where you are today.
Well, I mean, simply it was just an organic path, I suppose. My love of aerospace really started when I was a child. My dad was in the Air Force, and
Oh,
growing up on Air Force bases, you just naturally love
yeah.
jets. I mean, they're roaring around you all the time. So growing up around air shows, I just was always fascinated with airplanes, and so it really started there. And actually, for some reason, I thought I was going to follow in my father's footsteps, but I took a different path and actually went into education and really fell in love with that path and became just for a brief period of time a math and science teacher, but had the opportunity really to become more of an expert in technology. And I became kind of a technology leader in education space and was in the time period where the internet was just coming out and emerging. And so I really became a leader at different district levels across the state of Georgia, teaching teachers how to use technology and assisting school districts of actually getting their infrastructure up to speed so we could actually connect to the internet. So, but from there, I've always just, I guess, been drawn back to the space industry and the strange way of how I managed to wind up here now 5 years at the Georgia Space Grant. My previous position was an awardee of the Space Grant. And so some of the programs that we were doing and some of the things that we were managing to do caught the attention of my predecessor. And so when he
Oh.
decided to move on to a position at NASA Ames, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, are you interested?" And I never thought I would have been, but yet when I found out all of the great things that the Space Grant program does across the nation and that I could actually have an impact for the students here in the state of Georgia, I was like, I've got to do that. So this is like my dream job, and here I am doing the two things that I love, and actually helping to get other students to follow a similar path, but maybe get there a little quicker than I did. So happy to be doing what I'm doing. Love it every day.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. It's very hard to find something that you love doing every day, but I'm glad you were able to combine your two passions with education and teaching, as well as your love for aerospace that kind of came in when you were a younger child and put them together. Because a lot of times when people think of space, it's, oh, I'm going to be an engineer or a scientist, but there's a lot more to the industry. And we definitely need those hardcore scientists and engineers, but also all of the others who support the industry. So I'm so glad that
Absolutely.
you were able to combine those two interests of yours to get to where you are today.
Oh, and indeed. And I was one of those too who thought that the only way that you could be in that industry was to be an astronaut or aerospace, a pilot, an engineer. And I didn't have the I didn't have the love of doing those things, and yet I still love space and loved planes and jets, and so yeah, it was cr- incredibly amazing. So I wish it for everyone.
Definitely, yeah. And along this journey, being involved with Georgia Tech and the Grant Consortium, as well as working with students, how in this journey did you get involved with the Hines Family Foundation? And what's your specific role as a part of the foundation?
Sure. So shortly after I joined the Space Grant, I had the opportunity of meeting John. He had just created the foundation and was, I guess, building in Georgia, and was reaching out really to. He needed students. He needed, a mechanism to, to find interns, to really know the path of which way to go, and it was really the mechanism that kind of started what he now has coined stand up. He and I never can remember any of his acronyms. I can, but like not all of them. So stand up is STEM and Technology Alliance Network Development for underserved participants. And so, as kind of being the lead for that division, if you will, of one of those three kind of tier programs at HFF, I was able to kind of connect him with great student candidates that he could bring on board as his initial fellows, and just really kind of start that build up from there. So, and from there, I've connected him with a number of folks that are our affiliate members, other affiliate institutions, as well as other states with space grants as well. So, and just a kind of a network, if you will, connecting him to a variety of other folks where he has that network at NASA. I'll have that network at the academia level and the space grant level. So we're just a kind of a great partnerships, like putting pieces of a puzzle together.
Exactly, exactly. That's wonderful to hear that you were able to kind of bring in these two sides to work towards a common goal, a common vision that both of you share, which is absolutely incredible. And I'm sure with that being said, you have a lot of thoughts regarding the Hines Family Foundation's logo and theme, and something that maybe resonates with you. So I'm curious. Um, for those who may not know, the logo for the Hines Family Foundation is from STEM to ESTEEM, space motivated learning and training to enable the 21st century workforce. And so, keeping that in mind, what does this logo and theme mean to you?
Well, that's actually a great question. I think that a lot of people, when they think of STEM, they think, "Oh, that's just too hard for me." And I know that I did for the longest time. I was even, I think coined in a, put in a box, if you will. That's not what's for you. You don't need to go in that direction. But to go from taking STEM and then moving it over here, and it's not hard. It's something that's just awesome. And esteem, that's just a you esteem and aspire, and just those are words that you want to achieve. It's just it's a great, I think it's a grand vision, and I think that HFF is putting all of the pieces of the puzzle together to be able to help students go from STEM and to STEAM, and then have that grand excitement about what they do, and what they actually will achieve throughout their careers. And it's a lifelong thing. It's not just something that's from young age. It's something that is all the way in through career. And that's also, I think, a really good thing about the Heinz Family Foundation is it's fluid all the way across all those levels, and those relationships are built and sustained, and it's a pretty awesome thing to see.
Definitely. Yeah. And I really have to agree with what you were saying about the STEM to esteem piece. I think that's the most powerful part of the logo and the theme. It's that you're taking all of these concepts and these conceptual, thoughts that we learn, like we learn math, we learn science, we learn calculus, we learn the little intricacies of it. And you're like, what do I do with all this information? How do I transform this into something I could actually use? And that's where the esteem part of it comes, where the Heinz Family Foundation is developing real world projects and experiments the students can apply these skills and take them onto their careers, take them into their jobs we don't even know that exist yet. So I think just trying to go from the understanding of like STEM to esteem is powerful. And like you were saying, everybody aspires to be like an esteem or to be, something of that sort of that nature. So I can definitely see how the correct way to think of it is the Heinz Family Foundation is kind of providing that transition for everyone, regardless of their age, to go from STEM to esteem.
And yes, and continually to do it as well.
Exactly, yeah, and, with this in mind, I'm sure, you've been involved in so many different initiatives of the Heinz Family Foundation, including the upcoming World Space Day, and I'm curious, where do you see the vision of the Heinz Family Foundation going? Where do you see the Heinz Family Foundation in, like, the next 10 or 20 years? And after, this vision comes to life, what support do you need from the aerospace industry to make this vision a reality?
Great question. I think within the next 10 to 20 years, that HFF will begin to expand their reach beyond. Right now, the reach is really localized to the areas of where HFF has those relationships and those connections. And here in Georgia, he's got some relationship connections in California as well as in Maryland. But we can take those connections, we can regionally grow out from each of those, and then beyond there nationally, and then have opportunities that we have that are available here for students that are across the country. And I really think that that's an awesome thing to do. And the way to do that is people, connections, and financial. I mean, they need the dollars to be able to afford to pay those people,
Yeah.
to be able to bring them on board and give them the opportunities. And industries, aside from corporations doing donations and in-kind types of things, opportunities, provide internships and mentorships for students in your industries, so that they see that connection, so that they have that opportunity to learn the things that they need to know once they're there, and they can build upon that. I mean, I think that that's one of the amazing things about majority of students at Georgia Tech is most of them don't graduate having not had an internship or an externship of some sort, because that gives them that real world experience to apply what they have been in class learning. It's hands-on, and it's a phenomenal opportunity. So that's really what we beg of the industries. Provide those opportunities and share those with all of us. Let us know, and then we'll help you. You know, get 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 your internships. Broadcast. To the target and the right audiences. So I think that's what we're here to try to do, is grow, and we just need you to be able to help us give them the opportunities and be able to fund those opportunities.
Exactly, perfectly said. I think that really encapsulates with, the Heinz Family Foundation is currently it's kind of like a proof of concept of this is what we can do and this is the impact we're creating in the local area, in the local region and space. And here's how we can expand to nationally and hopefully internationally create that same effect to thousands and thousands of students. So I think that's a
Indeed.
great point of, in the next 10 years, this is the type of impact we want to see on a larger scale. And, with that being said, of course, that takes a lot more support from the industry, not just with, of course, donations, which is the big, I think, playing factor in all of this, but also
Mhm.
connections, like networking opportunities to be able to connect with other key organizations and companies, and to be able to just expand and work towards a common goal. Many organizations are working towards spreading space education to underserved and underprivileged communities. And so being able to work together with the common ideas and common goals, approaches we may have can make 10 times more difference than if we do it individually. So definitely what you
Absolutely.
mentioned, I think were critical. And I think it perfectly kind of encapsulates the spirit of the Heinz Family Foundation. So thank you so much, Miss Skillings, for taking your time to talk about your story and what got you into aerospace, as well as your involvement with HFF. I am so excited to see you this coming Saturday at World Space Day at AUC.
Thank you so much, Ditika. It was definitely great seeing you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in a week. It's been a year, and it'll be great to see you again.
Yeah,
So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
thank you.